Welcome to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we love to talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. My name's Don Marshall. I'm a big fat chubby guy living in sunny Hollywood, and today I am a donut-loving donut boy. I brought donuts to the office today.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, my name is Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and certified chubby chaser.
Board certified?
No, I'm very interested.
Okay.
And yes, donuts were had.
Yay!
Donuts were had.
I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and I'm also here in Los Angeles eating donuts. I didn't eat a donut. Us. I had a cruffin.
Yes.
Which is I guess like croissant dough that has been packed into a muffin tin.
Shoved in.
Yeah.
Crammed into the
right
sides.
in there.
Over and over again.
Suddenly I want another cruffin.
Well, just wait till you hear what I have to say. Hi, I'm Michael. I am a chaser and penis. That is all.
Today we are all penis-loving penis boys.
Oh, boy.
Thanks to Trevor, who was waving his penis
I was not
vocabulary earlier.
So last episode, we kind of like were singing a little penis song.
Yeah, it's
before
true.
we recorded. I don't know if Michael saved
Please,
that.
everybody does that.
I did save it. Here's a sample of it.
Penis time.
Penis, penis.
Penis podcast.
Penis, penis. Penis, penis.
Penis podcast.
Penis, penis.
Yeah, and I just kind of was chanting penis again as we were waiting for everything to start.
It's our amp up song.
Yeah.
It's the pre-intro intro. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Very mature.
We've got...
we're just trying to have a good
boys.
time.
We're just hoping to graduate from elementary school one day. And
It's weird again, people. I mean, let's be honest. It hasn't not been weird for a while. As long as we've been doing the podcast, it has been weird times.
I remember in the before time.
Do you? Because I don't.
I think I already said this multiple times on the podcast, but anytime I think it's 2 years, it's 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years gone, 2 years. But we're not doing that. We're having a good time today. I am very excited about our first story because I also have an update for you and Don. I told Dan
Okay.
the
All
update.
right. Well, let's catch the audience.
We're tearing into it. I feel like most of our listeners are kind of into fat bear news. So they have heard about...
Of what variety?
Hank the Tank, a 500-pound bear in California that has kind of been ransacking houses, eating pizza.
To be clear, this is an actual animal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big old round boy tearing into houses, eating snacks.
He's a snack hungry. I
Yes.
mean, that's what else you want from him?
Undeterred by,
Local law
paintballs,
enforcement.
beanbags, all this stuff they've tried to scare him off. And he's just...
Well, he keeps getting hit with it, and he's like, I can't eat this.
Can't take Hank down.
But there was a wonderful opinion piece in the Washington Post by J.P. Brammer, who also has a lovely dating advice column called Hola Poppy.
That's
and kind
perfect.
of talking about Hank the Tank as a symbol of the times and just kind of
I can't tell if it's brilliant writing or just really, really stretching, but it's very much
I get it. I get it.
and the picture's adorable.
You want to root for Hank. He's got the world against him, and all he really just wants is snacks.
I want to rub his belly.
He probably wants you to rub his belly too.
Well,
you may
people
not
are
get your
shooting him
hands
with
back.
bing bags. He could use a nice belly rub right now.
Are you ready for the breaking news?
Yeah, let's
the
hear it.
twist.
Yeah,
The twist of twists.
Did he finally get a snack?
No, it's better.
Oh,
Hank the bear is actually 3 separate, very rotund bears.
Oh my God.
Who are breaking into houses to eat snacks.
He's been framed by 2 other bears.
I was picturing 3 stairs stacked on top of each other with a trench coat.
No. He's actually taken the fall for 2 other snack hungry bears.
Wow,
Oh my God.
he was framed.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
he is participating, but apparently it's a gang of fat bears.
no, this is perfect though. What if they came up with this scheme intentionally so that they could never get caught? Because because when one bear
Yeah.
shows up somewhere and the heat's on the one bear in the east, the bear in the west takes over and starts fucking shit up all the way over there, and then they have to go.
Well, and if he
to try
gets
take
taken in by animal control services, he can go like, "Hey guys, it happened.
There's been another break-in."
There's been another break-in. Well, I've been
wasn't me.
here."
classic noir thriller plot line here. Like you can't accuse me because somebody else. Oh, that was the movie we were talking about, the Italian horror movie the other night, where that exact thing happened. Where it was like they
Three
take the
bears breaking
suspect
into
in,
houses?
kind of. No, they take the suspect in, then he's like, it couldn't have been me because the murders are still happening, and it's like, well, but it could have though. Like that's faulty logic.
Now I'm picturing this awesome new like bear horror movie where just hordes of bears start attacking. Nobody knows where they came from. They're just bears everywhere.
Fat bears, to be
Fat
clear.
bears, yeah.
Has to be fat
Eating
bears.
snacks because they didn't attack any. They very unbothered by people. But see,
Well, the people have the food.
these three very rotund bears have been saved from euthanasia because they were gonna put I
Yeah.
think the tank down
By
'cause they're
Frito
like,
Lay, what?
it's too dangerous for everyone to have a hungry bear just willing to tear into people's houses.
No snack is safe.
I want to know. So they're going to move them somewhere like a sanctuary or something. Are they still going to get pizza? Probably not.
Probably
No,
not.
they're going to be put on a strict diet of picnic baskets.
Well, hopefully
And
there'll be
honey.
something inside.
Yes.
Oh, Hank. Well, we need names for the other two bears. Well, there's Hank.
I did not see. I don't think they have been named.
Well, because they
Hank?
can't tell them apart. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Hank Williams, Hank Azaria.
And
I'm out of Hanks. Hank Hill. There you go.
okay, all right.
No, I think it's like Hank.
Tom Hanks.
No, I think it's Hank, Spiky, and Malcolm.
Hank Thompson.
Is that a person? I have no
That's
idea.
no. I just. It was
All
a
right.
dumb
Well,
joke.
party
It was a
on,
very
Hank the
bad
Bear.
joke.
Yes.
It was barely a joke. Hey, you're supposed to be the one supporter of puns in this room, Dan.
All right, then.
Come on.
I guess when you made that movie comparison, you were talking about film Burroir.
Yes, I will embrace this one.
Wow.
Only because
welcome.
I opened the door. For
No, that is not okay. You owe our listeners an apology.
it. That was definitely a stretch.
I'm sorry if these puns have been unbearable for all of you.
That's a little better.
We need a pause here.
Good.
Sitting here trying to bare my soul.
Oh,
No, you can't reuse.
yeah, you can't use the same one, Don. Follow the rules of puns.
Oh boy.
In puns, the first rule of puns is that there are no puns. No, that's not right.
No.
The second rule of puns is you do not talk about puns.
No, Michael, just take your punishment.
Yeah. Let's keep on rolling down the hill like Hank after he's had some pizza.
Which Hank?
Lizzo's back.
This is the
Lizzo,
best.
I mean, Lizzo didn't go anywhere, but Lizzo is thriving on the cover of Variety. There's a feature on Lizzo, but Lizzo was wearing this like kind of I'm blanking on
it's
the
sort of like
the 30s flapper. Yes,
yeah,
flapper.
like a flapper.
Oh, that's fun.
But like a
Flapper-esque
modernized
silver.
Yeah, like silver. How do you just
I would say a
like
silver flapper
asymmetrical
dress.
like silver flapper dress, and she's like mid twirl, with kind of that classic. I don't know what is that kind of like the Supreme style hairdo.
This is not
That is
flapper.
that is
this
not
is
that
like
is not a flapper dress at all.
this
That's okay.
is what do you call it? Fashion nouveau with
I
like.
feel like I've
this is
seen
that-
like the because it has tassels though. It's
Yeah,
I see no tassels.
No, this is Diana Ross, 1962.
Yeah, this is the flowing chiffon,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess
big
it's
fat gay fashion showdown.
yeah. I guess
Flapper
it's
or
like
not flapper?
if you took scissors to a flapper dress, that's the effect.
But I
you're
mean,
getting.
but I think it. I don't know. Look at it, people. Don't. Well, it's not.
Well, then you buried the lead. It's not that she's wearing a dress; it's that she has a new show.
Well, I know, but I was talking about how great the dress is.
It is a great dress.
She has a new. So the feature talks about a few things. It talks about her audition for Ursula, which I was unclear before this article if she actually got to audition for Ursula in the live action Little Mermaid, or what, or if it was just like she was like, hey, like because I mean, it's obvious. She's right there. Lizzo is right there.
Yeah.
But talking about like a nice little moment she had with Melissa McCarthy after Melissa McCarthy was cast, and Melissa McCarthy was like, well, why did I get it?
I was auditioning against Lizzo. I mean, damn, come on.
Yeah.
Which so my theory is that like, because like Ursula is such a beloved character, but if Lizzo was Ursula, there is no way you would root for the Little Mermaid. I'm sorry. I can't think of the actress's name of the cast.
Yeah, I can
she's
see
lovely,
that.
but I would be like, drag her, Ursula, kill her, rip her head off.
Does she really need her voice back?
I'm always that close anyway, because Ursula's just kind of awesome in her
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
You know?
You
But I
already
think it would
love
just push
Ursula.
it over to like, I don't care. Little Who.
I think Ursula was created for the express purpose of being able to do a villain movie 5 or 10 years from now. Like the origin story of Ursula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they talk about that.
There's more.
But the big thing is Lizzo's new show coming on March 25th.
You don't say.
Oh my God, Trevor's dying.
My voice.
Did you make a deal with a sea witch?
Yes. March 25th, Lizzo's Big Girls premieres. Girls. Like
Watch out!
Grrrls.
It's watch out for the big girls.
Yes, watch out for the big girls.
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 Grrrls.
And I love the impetus for this because she's famous for hiring only fat backup singers. And she noticed that dancers. And they couldn't get representation. Like they could not get an agent.
Yeah.
You know, because they're fat.
Well, and how do you find dancers that like it's, you know, how do you go out and find dancers that don't have agents, that don't have a way of like saying, oh, hey, we're really good. And so she went out and did so.
She freaking created a talent agency called I'm going to put you on television.
Right. Well, and she's had to do this. But the
Yeah.
point was like, not only can you, win the show, because it's sort of a cross between America's Next Top Model and Drag Race, sort of a competition show with a more positive attitude. Like she doesn't tear people down when she does the critiques because she's hosting the show, of course. But it also gives them all visibility and ideally will result with them getting agents and work afterwards, even if they don't win the show.
Absolutely. That's
I
wonderful.
mean, I don't need to underscore it, but there is some major fat talent out there. I remember when So You Think You Can Dance was starting off. Every year during the audition sequences, that's usually when they're showing, for people who don't watch shows like that, the audition sequences are when they show sort of like the unexpected talent in the middle of nowhere or like the real disasters, right? That you laugh at rather than with. And every year, they almost always had one fat person go up there. They would set them up as though they were expecting them not to do well. And then they would do this great routine, usually breakdancing of all things. There's talent. And the fact that we never saw it, aside from Dexter, in anything, like, that's a big deal.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of the whole point of why she uses the backup dancers she uses anyway. It's like,
Sorry, spoiler alert for next week. We're going to talk about Dexter's new show next week.
stay tuned for that. But this, okay, so the interview, it's a full-blown interview with Lizzo in Variety. And it's largely framed around her show, but it goes into much more depth than that. And I was doing my cursory, like, make sure I know what I'm talking about thing. And I just found myself reading the whole thing. She's so freaking charismatic and relatable. And like, at one point she was talking about, so she has her Grammys in the foyer of her house. And they did, I guess, a few shots in the show in the foyer. And like, she's like talking about how, she got kind of used to them being there as you would for any piece of art that you might have in your own home. But other people coming in were like pointing them out and like, oh, that's so cool. And she says in this interview, like, I've forgotten, sometimes I've got to remind myself that I'm the shit. And then the interviewer was like, do you really need to remind yourself that? And she's like, yes, I do. I forget who I am a lot. I'll be like, wait, I'm that bitch. It's like, these are the kind of nuggets you get if you keep up with Lizzo.
It is interesting she mentions that because it makes me think of something I've thought about in the past where for me, if I'm in a situation where I'm sort of feeling uncomfortable, slipping into the persona, right? That presentational personality helps me get through it. And it sounds like she does that too. And I forget sometimes that's just a method a lot of us do in our day to day, you know?
Yeah. It's just,
It's a wonderful interview.
she's refreshingly honest.
Yes.
She's just out there doing her thing, being that bitch.
The reason I'm manifesting this, everyone hold hands.
I can't reach. You're not going to be able to hear my voice.
Okay, so
We're actually holding hands.
yes, Lizzo is going to star in a Ursula movie after The Little Mermaid comes out. We're holding hands, manifesting it.
All right.
Wait for it. Okay, we can let go now.
Okay. This must happen.
I gotta say, I think I would prefer that to her
Yes.
just voicing Ursula in the Little Mermaid movie.
True.
Because why waste her in a Little Mermaid movie?
Yeah, put her in her own. Okay.
It just flew off into the sky.
Take it in.
Did any of you you reminded me of this. I saw a GIF from a fashion show where a dress designer designed a robotic octopus dress that as this woman walked down the runway, the tentacles just kept moving and spinning as she
Man.
walked. It was really interesting.
That's wild.
I bet they stole yours, Trevor.
My tentacles.
My tentacles.
I'm just still riding the high of just imagining.
Would you like to ride higher?
Yes. Write us higher, Michael.
It's time.
God, yes.
There's an actual bird outside the window, too.
Just not that one.
It's Fat Watch 2022. It's here. We're here. So, I mean, obviously I mentioned it's weird. If you're listening in current time, you know why it's weird. There's a lot of bad stuff. We're still in a pandemic, but also Texas is really coming for trans youth.
Yeah.
Russia is invading Ukraine.
And don't forget Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
Banning gay people, or at least in school.
The Florida
You're
House
just not
passed-
allowed to see them. You have to shun them when in public.
No, you can't say.
you can't say that. You can't say it. You can't say
Yeah.
it. Don't say
so
the gay.
there's a lot going on and it can be paralyzing. So I thought this would be kind of continuing the theme from last year of intersectionality and kind of supporting each other. I have two lists of resources I found. The first is how you can support trans kids in Texas. And it's a Google Doc and there's list of organizations. There's a list of kind of people who are doing GoFundMe's for relocation fees because they're just like, I'm out of here.
Get
I
the
gotta,
fuck out.
I got.
That's what I would
I have
do.
to get out, or I need to get my kids out of here.
Which is working. I mean, I guess if people don't know, it's working similarly to how they're trying to sort of roundaboutly ban abortions too, where like you can turn parents in who have been helping accommodate their kids transitioning, and if you think that that's happening, they're basically
the mechanism is you're reporting them for child abuse.
yeah
Yes.
yeah exactly. But you can support these
Yes.
people, these families.
I think we're gonna spend so much money in the next decade trying to free people from Republican states.
But that's part of the problem. Is like we're gonna spend the next 10 years fighting to get people back to where we were a year ago.
Can you imagine?
Imagine the progress that could have been made for the country if that time and money and resources were used to advance everything in an equal way for all people. That's gone now because of some douche nozzles in Texas.
It just floors me that this is the sort of thing that we'd be sending money for to like rescue gay people in Chechnya, that we'd be like helping refugees in parts of the world. And no, we're trying to get
here.
people out of Texas. We're trying to get people out of Florida.
It's rough. I think just check it out if you feel like you need to do something and you can contribute in this way. Find an organization that speaks to you. There's, like I said, there are also like personal GoFundMe's you can donate to, but there's only a couple. And just, I think, boost it and share it. If you can't contribute financially, that's not a thing you can do right now. Just share it around. There's also, like I said, I have a list from the Ukraine Reddit of, I mean, all sorts of different kinds of organizations in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like they broke it up in different ways, like charities for the elderly, charities that help women,
Children,
blood donation, animals, children,
and
homeless.
supporting the war effort as
to
well.
our time travelers listening from the future, we're recording this episode just after the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia started.
Yes, I will say that. So we're recording this on Friday the 25th. I mean, it's
Of February.
of February.
2020 part 2,
No, 2020.
part 3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously the situation is constantly changing. It's hard to watch. It's hard to take in, but
Fun stuff, but resources to help combat the evils of the world.
yeah. I mean, I think something else like we'll do at some point in the near future. So I already shared this on Instagram asking like, I think it's going to be kind of us continually like, I think March is going to be a little rough as this just kind of goes on. And as the Florida Don't Say Gay stuff progresses, which they're really trying to push through. I asked some listeners for like self-care tips. Cause I mean, we've talked about that a lot just cause like I said, it's been, the podcast has been going in these weird times. So I don't know, if you want to share with other listeners how you're taking care of yourself during this time, send that our way.
Yeah.
I think
Drop us a line.
Yeah, I would love to share that with other listeners. Like, what's your most method? What's your most method? What is your most effective method?
No, you were right the first time.
All right, I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah. But we're going to keep on going. Our main topic is actually technically a mailbag.
Let's do it.
It is.
I could go for the music.
Everybody then.
It's the mailbag main topic, y'all. So this was actually a question from Valentine's Day that got lost in our like Instagram does this weird thing where it's like message requests and then like there's a subfolder, like there's layers of message requests.
And I just got to say, I've seen this a couple of times with us. If you've written us and we haven't replied, I swear to God, it's because we didn't see it. We couldn't find it because of some technological problem.
Yeah.
We are not ignoring you.
Yeah. We're pretty good about replying to stuff. It might take us a day, but we usually still always.
Yeah.
All right. We have a listener writing in. Hi, I had a question for the Valentine's Day episode if I'm not too late. My name is John. He says it right there. And I'm a big fan of the podcast. As a single person, I'm also looking for new ways to meet new people. So I've registered to attend Bigger Vegas this year for the first time. Yay!
Huzzah.
We will see you there.
Yeah.
I always enjoy Dan's thoughts on chub chaser events. So I was wondering if he could put together a Valentine's Day event. Where would that event be held? What activities would there be? And are there any guest speakers he'd like to invite? Thank you.
Smiley face. Well, thank you for writing in. And we're sorry we missed it for Valentine's Day. But this actually gave us a really cool pivot point because I think it's, this becomes a very interesting question if you don't just lock it into the idea of a Valentine's event, but what would a chub chaser event designed by us look like? And for funsies. Like we're not trying to like undercut, the things that the people who actually design these events do, like Bigger Vegas or Big Value. Like this is just our own cool, fun ideas and
Dance party on the moon.
Yeah. It has 1/6 the gravity.
Exactly. Already a plus.
So much tickling. So what would, I think it's going to be interesting because, well, I've never been to an event before. Don's only been to one, and it was a long time ago.
Well, what I pointed out was that I think the two of you having been to other kinds of events like cons,
Yeah, that's true.
there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, I've been to Comic-Con. Don's been to a whole bunch of different cons, including Comic-Con. So, what, and it's scalable too. Like you could have a monthly, local thing, or it could be a big event like Bigger Vegas. But what's the iconic thing that you would want to see in an event like this or be able to experience? Or like, maybe we could make this even a little magical. Like what if you could just wave a wand and make it so instead of worrying about logistics?
Well, so I think we should jump in with like where is this?
Yeah.
That's always the thing with events is like, where is it?
Well, I like the moon idea personally because it's equally accessible to every person.
Well, except for Elon Musk who has that shuttle.
Well, yeah. That's a good question. So what do we know of the most fat-friendly cities? Like, I mean, we are probably most familiar with American cities. But.
So I was actually talking with Tigers, who we've had on from NAFA. We were talking about kind of, because Bigger Vegas is this year and also like the BBW equivalent of Bigger Vegas is happening right after.
Pop-up BBW dance party, something like that.
Yes.
In the same hotel, right?
Same hotel.
Same space.
It's
back
like
to back.
the next week, I think, or the previous week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The organizers of both the Bigger Vegas and this BBW event kind of help each other.
They share
with
resources.
logistics.
They
Yeah.
share
That's
props.
great.
They share.
That's smart. I love that they do that.
It's genius.
That's great.
It's genius. Yeah.
So, I mean, first thing that comes to mind is Vegas, just because it is a fat-friendly city. And we were kind of talking about like, because generally cities that are friendly to the elderly in terms of just like different kind of accommodations for various mobility things or whatever are friendly to fat people.
I would even say Vegas, but like I feel like it's probably preventatively expensive to do Vegas in the wintertime, right? Like
not necessarily. I mean, you get some better rates in the summer because
it's hot as hell.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 20. I mean, it's like hot as hell or just hot as blazes. Those are your choices.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Vegas is a good place for talking logistically, but are we just talking logic or are we talking about fantasy?
Well, me
Because I've seen the spread for the Caribbean resort that specializes for fat people.
Oh yeah,
That whole
We
thing.
talked about
That's a
that
whole.
so long ago.
Yeah.
No, it's on my Facebook feed now. There is one currently.
I was just saying we talked like that was like episode 9 or
Island.
something, like
My
so
bad.
long ago.
no, but I'm with you, Don. I think that
No,
would be
I
amazing.
wasn't criticizing. I was just you took me back in time for a second, and it kind of like made me go. I got dizzy for a second.
The other, here's what I would say. I would love to see a major Chub Chaser event somewhere in or around Atlanta. There are so many people who are kind of not served by Chub Chaser or bear events there. There's some in Florida. There's, of course, Texas. But that's not the same.
Well, we've talked about Florida and Texas recently.
I don't fantasize about going to Florida or Texas.
Not anymore. Here's my point. I'm sure, and I bet I could get a lot of support from listeners. There is something in or around Atlanta, maybe, I don't know, you know this part of the world better than I do, Michael. Maybe Virginia?
I feel like Virginia. I guess
I don't know how far north we're going. But anyway, but somewhere in that section.
I just
because
had.
it's underserved.
Hold on. No. So just this
but
is
not summertime.
Probably
Fall.
not.
Fall.
Fall would be wonderful.
Okay. Fall. Chubs take over Salem.
For Halloween?
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
please, it's Trevor's holiday.
I mean, that's not the look. That sounds cool. That's not even remotely the location.
Big
Tim was
fat
talking
gay
about.
big fat gay slutty Halloween
Slutty
in
witches.
Salem.
in Salem.
Witches and warlocks. Yeah, I mean that sounds. I've actually been to. Was it Salem? Yeah, I went to Salem in November. And
For
it was-
recently.
our international listeners, that is a place known for witches, and it is in Massachusetts.
and witch hunts and
Yeah.
lots of and their whole tourism industry is around that. And so it has this really creepy sort of New England, like if you've ever seen a Stephen King movie or read a book,
Or, if
it has that
if you've
vibe.
seen Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
It just occurred to me there's an entire town of people profiting off the murders that their
it's
ancestors
weird.
committed.
You show up there and it feels
That's creepy.
Kind of it does feel odd. I could see that being a lot of fun. If I mean, if they're doing it, we can do it. As far as the South goes, that would very much have to be like not spring and not summer because the humidity is
deadly.
is brutal.
Well, I don't know, but it can't be more humid than New Orleans.
No, but that was also going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Like if we're picking and choosing.
Another place I'd love to do it would be like Africa on like a safari area.
Wow.
Where you could get on tours and like drive out and see animals during the day and then have feasts above salt licks.
I
at
mean, a
night.
bus tour of seeing the animals, very Chub friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting there, though, I will say, getting there, that is
Because
rough.
you've been, haven't you?
I've been to South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that flights. Oh God, that was awful.
There's not a nonstop from Burbank?
No, that was. I mean, granted, I'm sure there are better routes, but the route I ended up on was Boston to Doha, Qatar, and then from there down to Johannesburg, South Africa, and that was a good 32 hours of travel. Because there was
So take a snack.
8-hour layover. Take a snack. I had back problems.
Oh, wow.
For about 3 months after that.
Wow, because so
of
much
the flight,
sitting.
because of the flight and the Anyway,
and
but
luggage.
the actual like once you get there, it's fantastic.
Cruise up and down the Nile there. And
Well, I mean, Sam, whom we've had on the show, he does Chub Chaser cruises.
Take over an entire cruise ship.
That might be a bit much, but
regardless of where it is, what would you like to do? What
Yeah.
would you like to see? Fantasy and reality.
wait, who he's talking about? Like scooter bumper cars?
Oh, we were talking
yeah,
about
totally.
Oh, no, yeah, no, it was scooter polo.
Scooter polo.
I want to play scooter polo wherever we go. That's fine.
Kind of like what was it? A Segway polo?
Yeah, Segway polo.
Yeah.
But I was
Well, put
told
the chasers on
scooters
the-
are friendlier.
Well, I can say you can put the Chubs on the scooters and the Chasers on the Segways.
So one of my favorite things that I've ever seen. Here's my little fantasy thing. Right. First, I'm going to tell you the thing it's based off of. When I was at Comic-Con, this was the year that the new Tron came out. They had it wasn't in Comic-Con, the in Comic-Con space. It was at an empty space outside of it. They had built Flynn's Arcade from the movie, right?
Yeah.
And as you're wandering through, they have all these retro video games from the 80s and 90s, and it's really cool. And then they have this wall in back that have the actual video game from Tron. But if you're not paying attention, that's all you're going to see. If you are paying attention, you'll notice one of those video games is mounted on a roller that you can pull it out of the wall, and there's a door behind it that has a smoke machine and a laser spinning, so it looks like a tunnel of light. And as you walk through it, you walk down this tunnel of light through the dark, you turn left, and suddenly you're in this massive bar inside the world of Tron with people dressed up in those LED suits, serving Coke. But it was a Coke sponsored event.
Oh, the kind you drink.
Yeah, but it's a dance, right? I think it's like the interactiveness, the finding of the secret thing.
Oh, that's cool.
That provides the secret space makes it feel special.
Oh, of course.
Even if everyone defines it. So what I would love to do is to have a dance, right? That people don't know it's there, right? But over the course of the night, you'll find out. There are going to be hints that'll lead you there. And as you go through this sort of secret entrance, they dress you. They do you up in a new and different way that you might not normally dress yourself. That is exciting and fun and different. And then you go into this sort of wonderland where everybody is someone different that night for the dance.
Oh, that's curious. You know? Curious, Don.
I think that would be a lot of fun. And it helps you get out of your own skin, you know, and
This fits with the slutty Halloween theme.
Slutty Salem.
yeah, I think it really does.
So when you say they dress you, what you really mean is they undress you.
Well, not necessarily.
Why must you make it dirty? Why don't you make it
Because I
dirty?
know you. I've known you for your whole life.
I guess this is kind of in line with that. So I talked about kind of comparing the BBW Bash, Bigger Vegas, which are like kind of very similar if you look at the schedules of them. But something that the BBW Bash has
yes.
has never been a thing at Bigger Vegas is they have a fashion show.
It's huge at BBW events.
cool.
The fashion show is almost the centerpiece, almost. And there's even a pre-fashion show, like to get your attention, like you should go to the fashion show. Here's what's going to be in the fashion show. And it's huge. And obviously women's fashion tends to be a lot more complicated than men's fashion. But, you know, I think it's time, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I would like some options to be presented. It seems like whenever I'm looking at big men's clothing, it's sort of the same thing with different colors on it.
Well, usually what ends up at a big men's event is T-shirts and harnesses.
Yeah, like fetish wear.
Wouldn't that be like socks and sandals? It's like one or the other, you know?
Huh? What?
Harness over a T-shirt? Like, that's just weird.
Oh no, he meant.
I know.
Wait,
I'm,
what?
Socks and sandals, harness.
I'm wearing
Because people
socks and
actually wear
sandals right
socks and
now.
sandals. Like Trevor's doing it right now.
Yeah, it's not my. I normally, if I do it, I make sure to wear like more. I wear sassy bombas.
Sassy Bombas.
I just have ugly white socks on today.
He's going full as lemon.
So, okay, so we have secret dance party with costume change, we have a fashion show.
The Reimagine Yourself party.
Yes.
So I had, well, actually, this wasn't entirely my idea. I may have pulled the room, i.e., Michael, for some ideas.
I asked my boyfriend all the time.
Yeah. A more like not practical, but like a more sort of like, I don't know, like after you travel, like because most people are going to have to travel to get to this place, right? So they're going to have to like get on a plane, you have to walk through the airport and do all this stuff, and it's stressful and it's tiring. And I think having just like a massage suite, but that's actually designed so like, you know, massage tables, how often are they actually wide enough for a bigger person to lie down on and actually get comfortable? Or like having like a pedicure station where you could just sort of go in and like relax and get pampered. And
Those have been part of Chub Chaser events in the past. It's usually some guy, probably a chaser, who has a really big massage table and he brings it to the event. And that's
is it effective or like
Oh yeah, people love it. People love it.
Yeah, I feel like I think the coolest version of that would be like a room or a suite where it becomes
spa.
like a full. Like one guy is great, but like having several people who are all kind of.
we could put it in Vegas.
Having one
at a
guy's
hotel.
great, but having several people is better.
Why must you make it dirty, Don?
I'm just repeating what you said back to me.
I'm just repeating what you said back to me.
I mean, it's almost like we could have it at Vegas at a fancy hotel where they have a spa. No, I get that you want it to accommodate big people.
I will say, I think you know what I'm going to say. In Vegas, there is a.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it survived the pandemic. Truthfully, there was a spa designed to accommodate supersized people, mostly women.
You talking about Jamie's spa?
Yeah, where it was this SSBBW who wanted to have a spa that would accommodate fat people, and like everything was custom.
This was like episode 2 of the show.
Did we
This
talk
goes
about
way
Jamie?
back. We talked about this.
It's all coming around, people. All coming
Way
around.
back.
Well, no. What was interesting is that she wanted a nail salon. I guess is that fair to say? It's a nail salon, and she was like, "But I want it for someone like me." And she is a SSBBW, who's in the 600-700 pound range, and like she is not going to put her foot up on a big stool. I mean, it's going to be. And it's like she trained the staff. Like, no, they're not going to put their foot up. You go down there.
Do we know if she's still in business?
At one point, there was rumored that she was going to have a whole
Was this in
reality
Vegas?
show. Yeah, it was in Vegas because that's where she was.
We can look it up when we're there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going on a nice spa trip.
I think it was called Baby Dolls
Something.
with a Z or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know there was a Z. I think.
Look for the Z. Yeah, I just thought that would be like a fun way to kind of like to get in the door, to sort of like just wash off the stress and the strain of travel, and like start vacation time properly. Thought that would be like a really good way to do that.
As far as guest speakers, so I know that I would want, I mentioned Tigress earlier because I was talking to her. I would want Tigress there to talk about fat activism because, I mean, part of why I got involved with NAFA is because like there is this, and always has been kind of this major disconnect between like fat activism community and fat gay men.
Well, for that matter, fat activism in the Bash community, even among the women, it's been a huge disconnect because there's been
BBWs.
BBW Bash. So it's like the Chub Chaser events for women.
Yeah.
And straight men. But it's interesting. There's always been this huge divide between sexuality and activism. And I've even seen it in the gay community.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be great. I don't know what other, like I know Dan does his, what other kinds of guest speakers do go to events currently? Like
There's been in the past, I can tell you some of the things that they either successful or not. Some people want to hear about, get real serious, and they want, like there was a registered nurse from the community, like a big fat man who was also a registered nurse. And he's talking about self-care and not so much diet, but like self-care with diabetes. Not the most uplifting thing you can go to.
But I think those things are important.
They are, and people want to hear about it. Like, and because people have this relationship with their body and they sometimes need help letting go at an event like this. And this gives them peace of mind.
okay.
Along those lines, and if I'm understanding this correctly, this will be at the event, is basically a merch store, right?
Yeah.
Like Trevor has brought up products here that never occurred to me would be useful. I bought, based on one of our earlier episodes, I bought these suspenders that connect in the back of the pants.
The butt
right?
suspenders.
Yeah. Life changer.
Yeah.
Like I used to, like, one of my big issues going to Comic-Con was just my pants are falling down. I'm walking all over this place.
Because you took more than 10 steps.
all day long. And like, I'm free.
Yeah,
I can
it's great.
wander again. It's wonderful.
Well, wait till you see what Trevor has in store for us at the end of the
Yes,
show.
it's
Yeah. We have an
exciting.
update. Yes. A tip.
So yeah, a store where they have these different products that I never knew I wanted.
Well, again, they do have a vendor's hall, but it tends to be populated with not those kinds of products, which I think would be a great addition.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be hard to get them there.
It would be, I wonder, because I don't think you could get the actual, like the actual manufacturer, like the people, the company,
It would have to be a middle person that probably pulls it all together.
I would, if I were to do that, I would feel a certain level of guilt, like purchasing a bunch of these things and then charging more to make a profit.
No, but
That's our merch. No, we print Big Fat Gay Podcast on these
On the
suspenders, and we sell those.
But and this is just the producer in me. Like that's a clever tie-in, but from a branding side of things, people will never see it.
Shut up.
I think
want your merch
will
advertised.
to see it. We'll
Your
see it.
merch has to serve as advertising.
They
it's
will
what
if
the
you
people who need to see it will, because it'll be like
That's
the
right.
chasers
take
will
off
be
the
like,
shirt and then
Our
you have
chase-
suspenders on under your
Our
shirt.
chaser base will go up like 5,000%.
It's like free advertising every time they take off their shirt.
yeah, we do need to kind of figure out our merch situation.
It's-
But
I
so,
mean,
Dan, what were you going to say about the suspenders? You were going to say something about like that's how it works. 'Cause-
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I would feel a certain level of guilt.
All right,
so you wouldn't
so-
have to do a huge markup, but you would have to do something.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
make
It's
it-
because
Big fat gay suspenders, big fat gay condoms,
Big fat guy. Oh, what
big
was the
fat gay
thing?
lube and lollipops, apparently.
The toilet guard thing that Dan.
Oh,
was
yeah,
really
piss
pushing.
guard.
I'm sorry, that is the most useful thing.
We want our logo to be a piss guard, though.
No, I think
It's
Michael.
about use. It's
Michael-
about use.
Michael has a new purchase.
I do have a new purchase. So I just moved into this new place, and the toilet seat here was incredibly flimsy and probably, I don't know.
Well, small, like one of these circular toilet seats.
And it was like,
from
a quarter of
1950.
an inch thick. I mean, it was just flimsy. It was terrible. So I went online and was like, well, if I'm going to buy a toilet seat, I may as well get one that's big boy friendly and like nice and comfy. And so I did a little bit of research. I found this website that I guess we could link to, where we could do a full tip at some point. It was just a blog post of like a guy aggregated these different things, and I picked one and got it. And when it arrived, I picked it up and was like, holy shit, this is the heaviest thing.
Dear listener, picture a gaming chair that's your toilet seat.
Yeah. It actually, you can't open the door to your bathroom all the way anymore.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
takes up space. It takes up space, but no pun intended. I mean, positive reviews so
Yeah,
far,
it's-
right? Like,
Well, I'm going to be using it before we do our bit. So
okay,
I'm looking forward to it.
I will say, apropos of, you're talking about like somebody doing a markup or whatever, there are websites, like the one that comes to mind is The Right Stuff.
okay,
And I think it's spelled with WRIGHT. The Right Stuff is basically, they handle a lot of mobility aids.
okay.
So, they have canes, but they also have they have the piss guard. They have, a little thing to get your socks on, which is genius.
I've seen those.
Lots of great stuff, but it's all on one website is my point.
Yeah, I just if we're gonna do something branded, it should be something that people.
So
can see.
those are going to be going into the bathroom at our convention.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
You know what we do? We have the bathroom, and each stall has a different toilet seat.
There's
Oh, they
there's one with
different-
my face and one with Dan's face and Michael and Don.
This is
That's a whole different kink,
not
Trevor.
the kind of crossover branding that I was hoping for.
Maybe when you lift it, it has like one of our iconic quotes, like it plays.
Oh, I thought you were going to have like, it has a maniacal laugh when you lift the seat.
Well, that would be yours.
I was picturing like the top half being the top half of your head, the bottom half being your
Oh my
jaw.
God.
Like,
No. Oh
That is
boy. I think this is a good point to kind
a
of.
nightmare scenario in all ways.
I think we should.
Exit the craft.
Yeah.
Exit the craft.
So yeah, so we'll follow up on the toilet seat later on, but I think it's so far it's a hit.
You're going to sit on that till later?
Yeah, we'll see exactly.
wow.
But we do have actually we have another tip. It's a 2-tip episode.
Yes.
So what is bringing back in Don's butt suspenders from
Yes.
earlier? We have
So we've talked about suspenders, but there's a new product that
On the scene.
on the scene that Instagram has very aggressively been trying to get me to buy, called the Belt Bro.
Belt Bro.
Yeah.
So it's a belt alternative
Yeah.
that is basically these two straps that you put on the sides of your belt loops.
Yeah. So not the full circumference,
Yes.
just a couple of
yeah,
belt
I've
loops.
seen those.
Imagine if you took your hand and just sort of pinched the waistband of your pants. That's what these do using two belt loops.
Yes.
It's industrial grade Velcro and elastic. Like it's supposed to be
Which is smart.
extremely durable.
That's smart.
And obviously adjustable to whatever size you need it to be.
Well, I love that in the ad, they also say, and it's a tool belt because you can kind of slip stuff in there. If you
So I will say I don't necessarily think there's a way to wear this and have it look great.
Well,
I
but
think
if you're
it's very
wearing,
functional.
But I think if you're wearing your shirt over your belt,
yeah.
yeah.
or if your belly is over your belt anyway,
I would wear this kind of like the suspenders Don was talking about, where it's like kind of an undergarment type thing. You wouldn't tuck your shirt in and then wear this in place of a belt.
Well, unless it was you're using it like a tool belt. Hello.
Unless you're a work boy and you have
You got a hammer in there.
Yeah, and a drill.
No, a real hammer.
I'd be curious to hear people's reactions to it because I could hear it. I could imagine it being actually more comfortable than a belt by a long shot.
Yeah, well, that was a big part of their advertising is that when you wear it, like if you're wearing a belt, and I run into this, especially if I'm driving, I don't really wear belts ever, but sometimes I do. And if I sit down to drive in my little car, the back of the belt just kind of like crinkles and pulls against my abdomen.
Yeah.
Or like from the back, it just pulls, because that's kind of how belts work, is they're just pulling from all sides at the same time. And so if you bend a little bit, it's putting more, and they're like, you don't deal with that with this product. You don't have those kind of weird pressures and pulls.
Well, the other thing that they market it as is that it doesn't have a buckle. So, I mean, you put it on the side of your pants, so it's more accessible, especially if you have a big belly. So I think that plus the elastic, I think it's probably a winner.
Yeah,
I'm curious what the price point is.
$25, buy one, get one free.
That's not bad.
Say
Yeah.
$12.50.
Yeah, so you get a couple of them for $12, $13.
Yeah, $12.50 sounds about right.
They have different colors: black, blue, brown, and gray. And I mean, it's notchless. It's Velcro, so like you can adjust it almost infinitely. Yeah, worth checking out.
Well, Don, do we have a bit?
We do. Since we were talking about gatherings and get-togethers and conventions, I thought maybe I would go into a few unusual conventions and contests and other gatherings around the country.
Oh my.
I just like that, like in normal world and like the muggles be like, and there's all these fat guys that get together in Vegas and guys that like fat guys.
I have literally gotten that reaction a dozen times.
All right. Are we ready?
Sorry, no, I just say I love when I have been at an event and there's someone that like it dawns on them that like this is some kind of there's something happening here, and seeing them like walk by the pool and be like, I don't know what's happening here.
No, my favorite question is like,
are you a convention?
No. She's like, are you part of a group? And I just like saying, no, why?
I just like being here.
It's awful much fun.
All right. First question. And a lot of these are going to be using names that I do not know how to pronounce, so bear with me.
Okay.
Nongshim is a Korean instant noodle company operating all over the world. As such, it's not surprising that they should contribute a great deal of money to various charities and cultural events.
Okay.
It seems appropriate, though, that a company that sells dried noodles should sponsor which of these events? 1. The American Wet Noodle Wrestling Championship. 2.
That's good. Yeah.
The International Hair Freezing Contest.
Oh.
3.
What?
The World Pasta Sculpture Contest.
Oh.
Or 4. The Macaroni Art and Jewelry Expo.
Oh, damn it.
This is
I was going to go for the pasta sculpture until I heard that one.
Yeah.
Noodle wrestling.
Noodle
Trevor's
wrestling?
going noodle wrestling. Oh, noodle is in like pool noodle, like hitting each other with a pool noodle?
I'm only giving you a name.
I know. I think we're talking like,
In noodles?
I think we're talking 100 pounds of noodle in a kiddie pool.
Oh, my God. That's... I'm going to go with my first instinct here and say the spaghetti sculptures.
I'm going noodle wrestling because I want to see that.
That would be
right,
interesting.
we got-
A great big meatball.
Is this sculpture contest?
Yes.
Okay, sculpture contest and 2 noodle wrestlings. In fact, the true answer is the International Hair Freezing Contest.
Hair freezing.
How is that even a contest?
The Takini Hot Springs in the Yukon hosts the festival. The website is adorable. People go to these hot springs, but the competition is open to anyone anywhere who can freeze your hair. You go into the hot springs in freezing weather, and then your hair freezes, and you shape it into different hairstyles and sculptures.
What?
And the website is so much fun. It is hairfreezingcontest.com.
Well, of course it is.
I highly recommend.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right, question 2.
I'd see that too.
Lopburi, Thailand hosts the Monkey Buffet Festival. What exactly does the Monkey Buffet consist of?
I'm just imagining that scene from
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, from
Monkey
the
brains.
horribly racist.
My brain goes to Clue. And monkey brains, although popular in Cantonese cuisine, aren't easy to find in Washington, D.C.
It doesn't hold up.
All right. What exactly does the monkey buffet consist of? 1, an assortment of various traditional and novel dishes made of monkey meats from around the world. 2, a competition where chefs attempt to create dishes that are both delicious and look like monkeys. 3, a celebration where the local monkeys are given an enormous fruit feast and then are entertained by people doing monkey dances. Or 4, a yearly feast highlighting foods and spices that are gathered by trained monkeys.
Mostly because I really want to believe this is the actual thing. I want it to be a buffet for the monkeys, where they make all the foods and fruits for the monkeys and then they perform for them. That sounds fantastic.
It's so not happening.
That would be such a good party.
Yeah, no, it's either they serve the monkeys like cooked or they train them to gather food for the humans. It's probably one of those. Whereas I'm envisioning monkeys in dinner jackets serving buffets.
I'm going to say,
cool.
just to be different, and because like I want to believe the one, like I want to go with Michael, but I'm going to say the one where the chefs make food that looks like monkeys.
Okay.
I'm going with they train the monkeys to gather food.
Okay.
The correct answer is, in fact, sometimes the world is a good place. This is the one where we feed the monkeys and entertain them.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's quite a spread. It's literally thousands of pounds of fruit given to the local monkey population. And it was started as a tourist thing by local businesses, and apparently it's worked.
What the world
I would,
needs now
is love.
monkeys with fruit.
This is another one where it's worth looking it up on the internet. Some of the pictures are adorable. All right, question 3. The Laoe Key Reef off the Florida Keys plays host to the Underwater Music Festival. What exactly does the event involve? 1, the musicians are underwater playing special instruments for an audience outside of the water. 2, the audience is underwater pretending to play music while the music is piped in from outside the water. 3, both the musicians and the audience are under the water. Audience members are encouraged to bring their fish. Or 4, it's just named that. The whole thing takes place on dry land.
I want to believe that it is the third option, and both the musicians and the people are underwater.
Well, you know, I've seen Harry Potter, and when this happened there, no, that's what I'm going to go with too. They're under the water. Everybody's underwater.
Everyone's underwater.
That's got to be. I mean, it's wrong, but that's not the important
there
thing. There
must be a way.
I'm picturing someone like it's the tuba underwater, and it's just like a giant bubble. Like,
Was there an option where the music was played above water, but the audience was underwater? Was that the second one?
No.
Okay, that's the only one.
No. 2, the second one. The audience is underwater pretending to play music while the music is piped in from outside the water.
I'm just now my brain is going into like, how would you play music underwater? And I'm sure there's a way.
I think it's the last one. This is nonsense.
I'll go with the second one. Like the audience is underwater.
Audience is underwater.
Listening, I think, through like earbuds or something.
Under the sea.
And Dan, are you the cynic?
Yeah, I think it's nonsense. Let's go there.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, today is the day that all of you should have been listening to Michael. Because in fact, the audience is underwater pretending to play music while the music is piped in through speakers from above ground. Wow. And the audience is encouraged. They actually is a prize for pretending to be playing the music that is being performed.
Best. There's a prize for who does that the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a cash prize.
There's all of that extra resistance.
And the whole event is to raise money to preserve those reefs. They're one of the only living reefs in the United States.
It's reef relief.
It is. All right. Final question. 60 days after Easter in Castrillo de Mesilla, Spain, the curiously named Baby Jumping Festival occurs.
Jesus.
What do people do during the Baby Jumping Festival?
I already know what they do.
1, men dressed in devilish clothing literally jump over dozens of babies that have been laid out in the street.
That's it.
2,
On motorcycles.
women dressed as brides use ramps to jump over a giant baby-shaped cake. The cake is then eaten by the women in order to bear a child in the coming year.
What?
3, throw children off a famous cliff into the ocean to celebrate the sacrifice of Saint Alejandro. Ooh. Or 4, parade the spring lambs that have been born that year through the town to the church to be blessed.
I think the first one. I think they jump
Well,
over
you're
babies.
sticking to your guns on that.
I think they jump over babies.
I'm going to say the first one too, because I can also kind of see that with Spain.
What happened? You're raised Catholic. What happens 60 days after Easter? There's got to be something Catholic that happens 60 days after Easter.
When did Jesus go back? Like, when did he ascend?
We saw a shadow and went back in.
Yeah.
No, that's the Christmas story.
I think
It was like 15 days, but I don't actually know.
I thought Jesus flew up to heaven.
No, that's the harrowing of hell. He goes down to hell and frees.
Smacks the devil
No,
on the
he
nose.
flies up.
He boops him on the nose.
You guys read the strangest
Bad.
fan fiction.
It's called the Bible.
Did Mary go to heaven too?
I'm sure
to heaven.
eventually.
Guys, I think we've gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Just take a guess. Take a guess.
First.
Dan.
All right, fine. We're gonna go with baby jumping, the first one.
All right.
I've
And
dragged
you
him
are
on.
all correct.
Oh my God!
You should listen to me now. Trevor, I am the guesser now. Look at me.
The baby jumping festival is something that happens with the reluctant cooperation of the Catholic Church, who does not approve of the celebration. However, yes, dozens of babies are leaped every year.
I don't know why I got all of those right, but I'm glad that I did. And that's 2 episodes in a row now, so suck it.
So, dear listener, when you want to jump babies, where do you go? Trevor, where could they tell us?
Well, we're on Instagram and Twitter as @BigFatGayPod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars everywhere. I think we got a new review actually for asking for one.
And we've gotten a handful on Spotify, so thank you.
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Need more reviews. More.
See the articles we talked about and the toilet seat at www.bigfatgaypod.com.
It's coming at your head.
Maybe you're just listening in your house, having a good time, and then crash, bang, boom. It's Hank the Tank. And
And there are 3 of them.
yeah, it's Hank, and Hank, and they're here to eat your pizza. So
Watch out.